Wow.
Because when it's small like this, it's juicy, it's nicer, and it's very crunchy.
Okay.
Yes.
But can it grow bigger than
it
this?
It can get bigger, but it's not as nice as these
When
ones.
is
And
this?
obviously, and these ones are also a particular type of cucumber. The sizes are not supposed to be big.
Okay. Hello, welcome to a new episode. My name is Jacqueline and this is 88 Greenyard Farms. If you are new to this channel, know that we bring to you exciting and educative videos, interviews with farmers and individuals who have tried farming, still at it, or may have given up. You would learn new things when you subscribe to this channel. So if you are new, please do well to subscribe. Today, we are bringing you an interview from Farmernii, who are located in East Legon Hills. They are into greenhouse farming. We join them to have an exciting conversation about greenhouse, the pros and cons, and why you should consider greenhouse farming. Stay tuned and let's learn more. Hello again, Farmernii. Welcome to our show today. Can you please tell our viewers about you? Who is Farmernii?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Nii Oblitiashon. Yes, I'm the founder of Farmernii. I'm originally a civil engineer, but now I'm a farmer. Yes, Farmernii is an urban hydroponic greenhouse farm. You're trying to grow sustainably, nutritious, healthy produce at affordable prices for people to be able to afford them. Yes, and as you said, I mean, I found somehow found myself into greenhouse farming.
Okay.
Because one, I tend to have the passion for agric, and then I wanted to look for something different from what I usually do. So I took to farming. I started with a backyard farm, and then that progressed into this greenhouse farm that we have over here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So from your backyard, and now, I mean, we have beautiful setup here of greenhouses. That's interesting. Okay, greenhouse. Can you tell us what is all this greenhouse about?
Okay,
I mean, what is it?
Yes, so I've heard this question multiple times. With greenhouse, I mean, just to break it down, I would say trying to grow in a protected environment.
Okay.
Yes, more or less. So with the greenhouse farming, what we're trying to achieve is that we're trying to maximize space and then control most everything that the plant needs to be able to grow, nurture it to give us the optimum produce.
Okay.
So in this case, well, what I have over here, what we say a greenhouse, we have the plastic polyethylene on top, which is trying to keep out the rains from coming in, as compared to what we have on the open field where the plants are outside. And then we also have the insect-proof nettings on the sides. So this is also trying to keep out all the insects that might want to go in and then attack the crops. Yes, and then we have the irrigation system that comes in here with the shade cloths and then extractors. So in this case, we're more or less taking care of all the needs of the plant for the plant to be able to thrive, to give us the optimum produce.
Okay.
Yes, so protecting the environment, protecting the plants from pests, trying to keep out the rain so that whatever water that's coming in there is what you decide to give to the plants. In this case, yes, in my system, I'm using hydroponics. So whatever water, whatever nutrition, I am determining what quantities I want to give to it.
Okay.
Yes. So that is it. The controlled environment.
Okay. So what kind of plants do you have in your greenhouse?
So the plants tend to vary based on the demands for the year, but we have certain constants. I do bell peppers, the colored bell peppers, capsicums. So I do red, yellow, orange, and then you have the usual green as well.
Ones.
I do tomatoes, beef and plum tomatoes, and then I do cherry tomatoes as well from time to time. The red ones and then the yellow cherries. And then I have med cucumbers, a very small, medium, small size cucumbers. Yes. And then I also do, right now I'm doing some habaneros in the greenhouse as well.
Habaneros, yeah?
Yes, very hot spicy peppers, yes.
Okay, that's good. Yes. But apart from these vegetables or plants you've spoken about, what kind of plants thrive well in a greenhouse?
So with the greenhouse, what I would say is what I know, greenhouse space is like gold. It's golden.
Okay.
So if you'd want to plant in a greenhouse, you'd want to look at plants that will fetch you more value on the market. So with me, for instance, it doesn't really make sense for me to have a greenhouse and then plant something like maybe carrots or onions or something in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so you look at the ones that are more difficult to grow outside that you'd want to be on top of it, but when it comes out, it gives you a lot of value.
Okay.
Like we know the issue of tomatoes in the country, and with the greenhouse setup, I'm able to grow throughout the year.
Okay.
I'm not dependent on the weather.
You're able to
or the rain.
extend the
season, yes, because it's a controlled environment for me.
Yeah.
I'm bringing down the shade nets when it's too hot. I'm showering when it's too hot in there, humid. I'm giving the irrigation, drip irrigation and all that. So something like tomatoes, it fetches you a lot.
Okay.
Something like the capsicums, the bell peppers, the red, yellow, orange. Those ones are difficult to grow on the outside because they tend to have a lot of pest issues as well. It doesn't make it appealing when you grow outside.
Okay.
Yes. So with this controlled environment as well, you're able to get it most or less pest free.
Okay.
Yes, and also you're also able to get the right sizes in terms of the sizes because you're controlling the nutrition and everything. But most importantly, one thing most people are more concerned with these days is the issue of pesticides and insecticides. When you have a greenhouse which is protected, the incidence of having to spray pesticides and all that are very reduced.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about growing organic. So that means if you are in a greenhouse setup, that is, I mean, you can control that a lot.
You can control that a lot because you're trying to keep out all the pests that, whereas if you're on the open field, they fly around and see and then they just come on. And you have to find a way to do that.
Yeah.
Even if you're using organic means of spraying, but then the incidence of spraying becomes much more. With a greenhouse, it reduces drastically for you because you're controlling and the movement in and out, the net is keeping out. So these are things that enhances the plants and then that gives the plants the chance to thrive and give you the best.
Okay. All right, me then I'd like to see what you have in there. Can we go for a tour?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
It's key when you enter.
Yeah, it's when you come after washing your feet outside. You come in and then you sanitize your hands. Yes, so that if there's any stuff on your fingers, at least before you touch the plants, then yes. So I mean, we can take this lane.
Okay.
So these are cucumbers that we're now harvesting from it. It's just about a month old.
Okay.
Yes. So the fruits are now starting to form, and then we'll start picking them. Usually we'll pick them about this size.
This size?
Yes.
Wow.
Because when it's small like this, it's juicy, it's nicer.
Oh.
And it's very crunchy.
Okay.
Yes.
But can it grow bigger than
it
this?
It can get bigger, but it's not as nice as these ones.
When is
and
this?
obviously, and these ones are also a particular type of cucumber. The sizes are not supposed to be big.
Okay.
But when you leave them on the plant, it will still get a bit bigger. Not longer, but bigger. But I want to be as nice and crunchy as yes. And these are favorites by a lot of my customers because they are more like finger foods. Once they pick them up, they're able to just start.
Which variety is this?
This is the Mediterranean cucumber.
Okay.
Yes. So this is it. So usually we do 2 pickings a day. We pick in the mornings and then at times in the evenings. Yes. Because probably in the morning the size might not be okay. Then by evening it's a bit bigger.
Okay.
And start picking. So these are all new ones that are going to increase in sizes.
Like 2 a day. Sometimes even more.
No, more. Sometimes we do.
No, I mean like harvesting 2 times.
2 times in a day, yes.
Interesting.
We do harvest.
So like if you are doing that every day in the week, that's a lot of harvest.
That's a lot of harvest. And for a house like this, we are averaging about 150 kg a week.
Wow.
Yes, it's more, but just on average about 150 kg a week, yes. And the plant population over here is just about 700. 700 plants.
Wow.
Yes. And as I told you, we're going to trellis them. So as it keeps, you can see we're using the rope to hold it, and then we'll go around it and then trellis them. So as they keep getting longer, we keep trellising and it moves in. So as this is moving forward, the ones over here is moving in this direction.
So it's not overcrowded.
And then it tilts around it. Imagine this on the open field. These days, I mean, on the open field, you can equally trellis them nicely as well. And then what I told you about the grow bags. So this is coconut husk, which is a you say a cocoa peat, and then we have our irrigation line coming, and then the drip arrows which bring in the water into it. So you're more or less controlling every aspect of the plant's growth. Yes, these are sticky traps. Yes, we'll have to change them. But what this does is that it attracts insects. So if you have insects in the house, in the greenhouse, when they go on it, it sticks. So when you touch it, you realize that it's sticky. Yes. And when you come in then and you scout and you look at it, then you have a fair idea that okay, these are the kind of insects within the greenhouse. And this is the measures you are supposed to choose for it. And then at least you count them. I mean, this is old, so we have to take it out. We had a couple of nuisance pests over here, the fungus gnats. They don't really cause much of a problem, but you can see they getting stuck on this over time. Yes. And we have different kinds because some of them attract different ones, the yellow one and then the blue one. Some of the insects are attracted to a blue color, others are attracted to, so we have those ones.
The color is intentional.
Yes, and then we have it. And if you can see, you see it's been the pruning. He watched how it's been crisscrossed nicely. So it keeps the place neat. And then they come in here after pruning the size, sweep in here nicely, and then the place looks okay. I mean, if you're not comfortable with having your food from a place like this,
where else do you want to get it from?
Exactly. Yes. I mean, you lose some along the line.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, in trying to recover from the problem I told you, you can see some of them are still showing the signs in there. So, yes, it's. I mean, you have your challenges along the line. Yes, but you correct them as you move on. You try and see which ones you can prevent along the line. So you don't go in with the mindset that once you start it's all rosy and nice as it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I see bell peppers. Am I right?
Yes, bell peppers. So
what varieties do we have?
Okay, so well, in terms of the colors, we have the orange, the red, and then the yellow. We've done the major harvest. So we don't really have
the colors
showing. Yes, but you can tell they're starting. Some of them are still trying to change color. The red. And
I see there's an orange one there.
Yes, there's an orange.
These are orange.
There. And then I'm sure when we walk through, we might see a few more. You can see the red and then the orange. So they all start off as green, and then based on which variety we are doing, it changes to the other. Humidity in the house is very low. These are some of the ways we try to get the humidity to go up. Yes, because very low humidity affects our pollination in the greenhouses. So these are some of the measures we carry out within the greenhouse.
It's like you're having your own kind of rain.
Yes, probably you can turn off, please. So this is what we talk about controlling. These are some of the things we do within the greenhouse to control the environment.
That's nice.
Yes, these are yellow habaneros.
How old are these?
I think these habaneros are about probably 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months. Yeah, so we've been growing it and then we prune and then we just start again. Yes.
See how big and it feels fleshy, you know.
You see, they're hiding in. We've done a major harvest and you can see them hiding in there. Very hot, very pungent.
Tell me about
You
it.
see the sizes. So behind them, we're going to keep picking them to
Okay.
probably we get tired of the plant.
So how long can you keep these?
With good nutrition, we can keep it for as much as 2 years.
I see, because it's usually bushy. You've introduced bamboos.
Yes, so we let this one run a little bit wild. We didn't trim them to a particular number of stems. I think this one has about 6 stems with this one. I mean, the fewer stems, the fruit sizes are bigger.
Okay.
When they're more, it reduces the size because it's producing. We do the same thing for the tomatoes. Sometimes the beef, we keep 4 to a cluster.
Okay.
And all that, yes. So we let it bushy, but when it gets bushy, it tends to fall on the sides. So, I mean, if we were to go with the hooks, like in the other houses, we'll need a lot of hooks
to keep it going.
It
has a lot of stems.
Yes, because it has a lot of stems. So we decided to go with the bamboo and then the string to hold it on the side so it doesn't fall off. Okay. Yes.
So, Farmernii, what would it take for one to be able to have a setup like yours? I mean, to set up a greenhouse, what does one need?
Okay, so, I mean, with what I have gathered from experience, I always say that the whole goal behind the greenhouse setup is to have a controlled environment where you're trying to keep out the rain from coming in, trying to keep the pests and insects or whatever rodents from going in with the insect-proof nets. Yes. And having a good irrigation system that will come in and feed the plants. So I always say that at times your structure is only as good as the work you put into it or the people you have who would work in there. So you might not necessarily have to go in with a structure like mine. I've seen greenhouse setups where people have a simple structure like a bamboo or timber. And then they do the frame, but then they have the plastic to keep out the rains, and then they have the insect-proof nets to go in there. It has to do about in terms of how long it might be able to go with you, but I think a wall-seasoned wood or something can last you. Or even if it's blocks or something, you can do something. These ones would obviously go further because it's steel that is coming in. Yes. So, yes, one, I mean, in terms of your finances, I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to put in so much, and you wouldn't have done your market surveys and other stuff, your return on investment, all those analysis and stuff that you'd want to, because you wouldn't want to come in with a try and error and lock down so much cash in there. Yes. I know there are a couple of companies within the country that are importing importing, yes, and doing setups and then selling them. I mean, but if you also have the means to import, which is also another plus, because obviously you cut down some cost as well. And you can also easily also get local materials and do that. You can probably later on you can see my nursery. We bought all the items and then fabricated them and then did that. So a simple structure, but the most important thing is to have the goal, the concept behind what the greenhouse is supposed to do for you. And once you get any material that will be able to fill in those aspects for you, you should be good to go. Yeah.
All right, but people have complained that it is capital intensive. Do you share that view?
But it's capital intensive. Initial startup cost is huge, obviously, because you now have to put in the structure, the insect-proof nets and all those stuff. If you go in hydroponic with like what I'm doing, the grow bags itself, getting very good grow bags, you have to even buffer them, treat them, and then all that, sterilize. All those things are a lot of capital that need, as against going on the open field and probably starting. But in the long term, I think it pays off long term for you, because having a structure like one greenhouse like this, from what I've experienced or what some people, assuming you're growing tomatoes or let's say habanero
Yeah.
or cucumber, it's just about probably someone planting on an acre of a land. And in this case, you have everything confined within the space that you can work in there and all that. But then you also have to be strict with your measures, because if you're going in the greenhouse, you need to sanitize yourself, which comes as an extra cost.
Okay.
Yes, the irrigation stuff that you're doing to come in there, the pumps, the nutrition, and all those other stuff. It's initial startup capital is high. It's quite high. But with good management, and management is key. With good management practices, I think in the long term, it's worth it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you have the advantage of controlling what goes in there and monitoring keenly, which also means that you end up having higher yields.
Yes, you end up having higher yields.
So, okay, sorry.
Yes, you tend to have higher yields with the plants, because what is coming in here, you're feeding directly to the plants. The nutrition that comes with greenhouse irrigation, fertigation, the plants are getting the nutrients directly fed to them.
Okay.
In this case, with my hydroponics that I'm doing over here.
Okay.
So, and then the plant is not stressing itself. Okay, so the nutrition I'm getting, I'm now going to use them to take it, like refine it into the final product that you want. The plant needs to grow it. You're controlling the environment, so all those harsh conditions that would affect the plants, you're not. The pests that will come in and delay or probably feed on them or stunt the growth, all these things are more or less curtailed.
Okay.
So when you look at the plants, probably, and I had some plants that I transplanted. Usually when I'm planting in here or seeding, I do a 10% extra just for in case some of the seedlings don't survive and all that. Some of the ones that we are left after transplanting, I put them on the open fields. Same irrigation and all that, but you realize that those in the greenhouse tend to look more, look finer
than the open field.
Than the open field, because open field has a harsher condition. No one is going to put a shade cloth on top of them unless you'd want to do that.
They are exposed to the weather.
Exposed to the weather. They're exposed to all kinds of insects, all kinds of things that might not go to it. These are more like pampered. So if you have someone that's more taken care of in the pampered society, as against someone from obviously, I mean, excuse me, say, but you can tell the difference.
It's true. It's true. So for you, Farmernii, I mean, you say greenhouse any day over the open field.
Yes, greenhouse any day over the open field. And in this case, I'm also accounting properly for what I have, because I have the number of rows I have with the various crops. With each individual drip arrow coming to it. So I know that we're doing, let's say, 200 liters per plant or whatever quantity I want to do. I know that. So I can have a fair estimation of what I'm getting out from here. Yes, and I know no one is going to call me and tell me somewhere, in some instances we hear, oh, the cattle moved onto the open field and destroyed the crops, or there are some guys chasing a rat somewhere, and then, I mean, all these things I can tell, they're able to manage better with a greenhouse.
All right. Okay. So I mean, greenhouse any day, not open field.
For me.
But well, that's true. And in some cases, people say that some plants do better in the open field. That's why they go for that.
Well, I think in some cases, I mean, if you have a structure the size of this, I don't think you'd want to be growing something like cocoa or palms or obviously.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You look at what's as required and then you choose the right.
Farmernii, let's talk about what a typical day is like for you when you walk into your greenhouse. What do you do?
Okay, so a typical day for me, I mean, we start our first irrigation around 7:30 in the morning. And usually what you'd want to do is make sure that first the nutrition, you've mixed the nutrients in the tanks, what we need to give to them. We have to check, because we're doing hydroponic, you have to check certain factors, the pH, EC, electrical conductivities. There are certain ranges we want, because the nutrient becomes readily available to the plants at those values. Yes. But then when we come into the greenhouse and we would want to check if the drip lines are flowing. because whereas, as I said, I'm doing hydroponic where I'm growing in cocoa peats.
Okay.
If I should go for a particular period of time without giving them water or nutrients and it becomes dry, the plant will wilt and die off.
Okay.
Whereas in nature or on the open field, at times nature will compensate for some of these things for you.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, this is solely because you are controlling it. Within a few hours, the grow back is dry. So you have to have that consistent irrigation through the time.
So how many times are you doing that in a day?
So over here, we're doing about seven cycles in a day.
Wow.
Yes, where we water them. Wait, yeah, okay. 7 cycles. And then what also happens is that when I go into the greenhouse, you'd want to, as I said, you check the valves, you check the drippers whether the water is coming. Because you can be irrigating, but then it's not getting to the plant because they are clogged with particles or something. We also would generally do scouting. You scout to see what pests are in the greenhouses.
Okay.
So those are things you'd want to check and see. But we would want to scout for pests within the greenhouse. We look at the plant itself to see whether there are any, because the plants talk to you.
Oh.
And I always say that whatever we do to the plants, it's a response based on what you put in it.
So how you are treating it?
How you're treating it. You look at the leaves, whether the leaves have any marks on them, any discolorations and all that. You might know that you probably have a deficiency in a nutrient or you have a disease or a pest. So we generally scout around and look at this.
Okay.
And because we're growing in the greenhouse in a confined space, because we can't have it so big, we trellis. So these plants are able to grow really tall. I think the last time I checked on my tomato, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can do about 10 meters length.
Wow.
Layering it up.
Wow.
So they grow. So every morning, a few days in between, you come in, you use a rope to trellis them.
Okay.
And then we layer them.
Okay.
Because if you don't do that, the plant it will fall. It doesn't have that spine to stand on itself, so it's going to fall and break off. So you'd want to do trellising. You'd want to remove probably side shoots and all that. And then there are days based on what you're planting. If it's tomatoes, we do pollination.
Okay.
The bell pepper self-pollinates itself and all. Yes.
But for tomatoes, you
have to do the pollinations as well. So it varies, and there's some activities you might do today and you don't need to do probably for another couple of days. Yes, because based on how it grows. But something like a cucumber, they will grow very rapid. So almost all the time you have to be looking to trellising and all that. Yes.
Okay.
So these are some of the things we do. The nutrition, checking nutrition and checking pest, the IPMs as well, just to make sure everything is running smoothly.
So you can't be an absent farmer when you have a greenhouse?
No, I don't think you can be an absent farmer. No one would do it better than yourself, because I think one person that really believes the goal or the idea behind the greenhouse is you yourself.
It's true.
And you are more or less trying to be the leader and impact it to your people, to draw them to follow and suit. Yes. And being absent, in as much as they might try their best, sometimes it becomes difficult. And that's one thing I've seen over here. At times the sense of responsibility is non-existent. At times it's not an issue of motivation. It's an issue of some people are still not buying into the concept of, well, I'm going into a greenhouse. Why do I have to sanitize my hands and go into a greenhouse? So they walk outside, touch anything,
and then they still
just walk in there, touch it up. If there's an infection, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So it has to be that effective management of it.
Yeah.
Yes, consistently. I mean, you cannot be here, but at least you have to more or less make that vision known to them, and you can't really be around, make that impact if you are constantly not around.
Yeah. So how many people do you have working with you currently?
So currently, myself out, we have 6 people working over here.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Yes,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good. So with this daily routine, at least I know for sure you said you have to be doing irrigation about 7 times.
You have to do about 7 times.
So what happens when you miss maybe 1 or 2 within a day?
So what happens when we miss is that you see the stresses on the plants. Yes, and when the plant is stressed, as I said, because we're doing hydroponics, once the plant doesn't have it and it needs it, you see it's wilting.
Yeah.
And sometimes this might end up probably leading to some later on problems, like having end rots, because there's that inconsistency in the watering.
Yeah.
Yes, end rots with maybe the tomatoes or the bell peppers.
Okay.
Or if you fail to, and I mean the greenhouse is not solely, it doesn't solely go with hydroponics. I chose hydroponics. Some people grow in the soil.
In the soil.
So they will probably have a better control over it. The hydroponic has its own advantages of going into, yes. But in the case where you miss a couple of cycles and you end up getting permanent molds, then you're more or less losing the plant.
You've lost everything.
Lost that plant as well. So that has to come in as well.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of pests or diseases do you have to battle with in here?
So
or you are avoid of that?
No, I mean we have it, and that's why we were saying that at times it's capital intensive as well.
Yeah.
Because on my farm we're using Ghana water for irrigation.
Okay.
And we augment it with a borehole.
Okay.
So we've done a borehole, but then the salinity is really high. So then we have to now do a reverse osmosis to treat the water. So I'm more or less watering with pure water, as you would say over here.
Sounds expensive.
It sounds expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, and there are moments the wall is not, it doesn't have much volume in there. So when we pump, we don't get enough. You would have to bring in water from outside.
Yeah.
And that's where I had a problem with my plants, because I bought water from outside on the tanker, and I mean we didn't do a proper check, and I think we had the incidence of bacterial wilts I was telling you earlier. Affected the tomatoes in there.
Terrible.
Yeah, so these are some of the challenges that might come, yes, with the greenhouse. There are issues of white flies, because naturally the pest will move towards wherever is there. If you have issues of thrips, which you have usually attacking the peppers. Thrips love the peppers, and also cucumbers as well. So white flies, thrips. I have a bit of open field, so maybe it also serves as a host for some of the pests, and then they probably migrate here. We have incidents of aphids. Yes, just the normal stuff that you would have here. I have some sweet corn. I've seen armyworms. Yes, so these are things that you have to constantly educate yourself on the best practices to take care of them. Yes, prevention is more or less the best way. Yes, you can't avoid them from coming, but trying to manage them is the yes.
So that means you need constant management. You need to be present, get all of those things done.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So apart from the pests and diseases, what other challenges are you faced with managing your greenhouse?
Well, in terms of challenges, as I said, the structure is only as good as the people you have working in there. So if you don't have a good team, that's one key thing, because they could trellis it wrongly. I've had incidents where I had some of the team members, previous team members, they would even trellis around the flowers. So
how would it fruits?
Yes, the flowers fall off. After trellising, you find fruits on the floor.
Wow.
You know, some of them, every greenhouse is supposed to have its own two sets. You're not supposed to move them across, because when there's transfer anything there, and you could have people who would not buy into it, and they would just move the secretaries from one house, move it to the other stuff. So if there's an incident there, you transfer. So that's one thing. Yes, the issue of water, as I said, because I'm in an urban center. Water. Yes, I'm being charged commercial rates for the water as well. The borehole sometimes run dry. So those are some of the challenges that come in here. But the good thing with what I'm also doing with the greenhouse and hydroponic is that the water consumption is very low as compared to the open field with the drip irrigation system.
That's true.
Yes, and what I do now is that I recirculate the water. So the water that goes through the greenhouse, I dump them. I have a tank, a reservoir at the back where I keep them, and I just recirculate that onto the open field. So
I think it's a thing with engineers. They like to play around their stuff. That's good now. So you don't get to waste water.
So we look at that. If we watch on our we need to dilute it a bit or buffer it up a little. We do that, and then we recirculate that onto the open field to use as
that's a sustainable way to manage this. I see you're also big on sustainability.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Because greenhouse in itself, I mean, it's protecting the environment already. So what are some of the sustainable practices you have here?
So the first thing you can see is all these plants have been crammed into a small space, but they've been nicely spaced out.
Yeah.
All the same.
Yeah.
Whereas if I were to do this on the open field, I would have to clear a big tract of land. That's the vegetation that we're losing over here. So this is sustainable in that sense.
Yeah.
And the issue of the irrigation, as we said, we're using drip irrigation where we are accounting for the water per plant. So it's not an issue of just opening out,
not wasting water.
Water is a big issue now these days as well. With the shade cloths I have on there, trying to regulate the temperatures and other stuff, you know, they are not losing a lot of water to evaporation as well, with the plant's transpiration and all that. I mean, all these things come in to help with the sustainability of the place. Yes, so that is a very little we are also doing to help with sustainable
it's really good. I mean, now the world is big on sustainability, so any little thing you do, I mean, it's a big add-on.
Yes,
it's really good. Farmernii, so we've spoken around a lot of things, the good parts, the bad parts. I mean, I'm sure there's been something good for you through this journey. You've experienced some good stuffs, right?
Oh yes. I always say this is more or less a getaway place for me, because once I come here, I mean, growing and seeing a plant grow, it's a bit therapeutic for me as well. I mean, to see you putting a seed in and having it grow to that stage, yes.
It's an exciting feeling.
Yes, it is exciting for me.
Yeah.
And one thing I've been very grateful for is the impact and the feedback I get from people.
Okay.
I mean, we started this, I told you earlier on, I started the backyard farm with my kids at home.
Yeah.
Because the main focus then when I was, and it translated into this. So I made it a point to more or less try and impact the younger kids. And over the years, I've had a number of schools coming here with kids. I mean, with roaming minds, trying to figure out how plants grow. He said you should teach your kids where plants come from, so they don't think they come in boxes. So yes, I do get school kids that come in.
I think I've seen that on your pages.
Yes, and then it's fun taking them around, teaching them how to start up with the nursery, and showing them, oh, this seed that you put here, this is how it is out 7 weeks. I know that is how it actually ends up. So, who knows cucumber? No, me, and then, like, you see, this is how it is. So that gives us a lot of joy. I mean, another bit I also tend to enjoy is the delight I get from the customers when I give them produce. You get good feedbacks, particularly my church. I would mention my church. The old ladies over there, they are so much happy when I give them the produce, because these are freshly picked. I pick them on Saturdays and then they get them on Sunday at church, and they're so happy. I mean, every Sunday, you know, if for nothing at all, they'll call to check up on you, like, oh, Nee, what's happening? My vegetables coming and all that. These are some of the successes that come in. In terms of the business aspect of it, I think I'm right now in this phase of fine-tuning my system, because there's always a learning curve for me. Actually, I was expecting to be harvesting tomatoes, and then I got bacteria warts. Yes, and it was because I bought water from outside. So now I'm trying to say, okay, so what do I do in case something of this sort happens? If I lose this, what is the next thing I can do? So those are some of the things that we're trying to do. But more or less, the greatest joy or success has been about the impact that I think Farmernii is starting to make.
Yeah.
We've had lots of calls from all over the world, and we've been fortunate enough. People trying to find out, oh, I'd want to go into farming. How do I go? I saw your video over here. I'd want to. Some would call you. I said, oh, I'm allergic. My son is allergic to this. I'd want a place where I can put a face to the produce that is coming, so they're more comfortable coming in here, looking at the environment in which you're growing. These are all successes, and I believe with time, my team and I will start recouping the benefits in terms of the monetary aspects.
Definitely.
From it, yes.
I mean, once you keep this tempo, it's gonna even get bigger than this. You've really done well. So talking about all of this, you have people watching and they're like, okay, I would want to try this out. I mean, what would you have to say to the young people out there who would want to also venture into greenhouse farming?
What I would like to say to them is that, I mean, once you can conceive it, you can achieve it. But it takes a lot of passion, discipline, and resilience.
Okay.
Resilience in the part that it would look so nice on paper most times, but if it doesn't go the way you'd want it, do you have that extra desire, extra energy to spring back and then continue with it as well? But first and foremost, if you'd want to go into greenhouse farming, or for that matter, farming at all, you'd have to do your market survey. You have to get ready markets for your stuff, because these are highly perishable stuff. The max some of them might do on the shelves, probably 2 weeks on the shelf. Yes, but that even goes with good practices. If you have good practices, then you can extend the shelf life, or having good seeds. But if you don't have the existing market for you, when you're losing that, you have post-harvest losses. Or secondly, you'll be forced to sell your produce at a price that you will not be happy with.
I was even going to ask you about that. I mean, there are some people who complain that sometimes the market women call the prices, even though you have your price.
Yes, and it's because probably maybe you've not planned properly and marked out how you'd want to go. Because if I come in here and I say, oh, I'm growing tomatoes in all 4 greenhouses, you have people who are going to probably take, let's say, 1,000 kilos a week from me. That's a question you have to ask yourself. You could have someone take 120, 10 years, but what happens with the rest of it? So a market woman or someone, a middle man who probably comes here, feels that if I don't give him a low price, he tends to lose. So then they would then dictate to you. So if it's about planning, proper scheduling of your crops, staggering the growth, or if you're fortunate enough to add value to it, if you want to sun dry them or powder them or add the process to it, at least you are more in control of what happens with you, and you control your price much better. Or let's say one thing, and I mean I can share with everyone, during the rainy seasons where we tend to have a lot of farmers producing, and there's so much tomatoes coming from outside. Whereas with the people who have come to understand the quality of the produce they're getting from the greenhouse, some people still have the notion that tomato is tomato, what's here is the same as on the open field. So if you don't plan properly and you have so much produce coming in here, some of the customers that you tend to have are already buying the cheaper ones from the market, because there's a lot more on the market.
So then you'll be pushed to.
Yes, so you'll be pushed to probably sell lower. All right, so these are some of the things you have to do. You have to do your homework properly. You don't say, oh, I saw Farmernii or Green Yard Farms selling so much, so let me also go in all that. No, it's not always so. And it's same with all kind of businesses and anything you'd want to do. So that's my little advice.
So it means you need to do your research, you need to get your training. I mean, you need to have that positive mind, because it's not for the faint-hearted. It's
not. And you approach the greenhouse with a different mindset. Don't come in and think, oh, I've done it on the open field. So it's the same thing that comes in here. There are different practices altogether. You can adopt some, you can tweak some of them, but then they come in with a different approach. So you must be willing to learn. So great. You can't can get maybe other farmers tapping into the knowledge they have. YouTube is available to all of us. You can go in there, you can watch contents like this, and then at least you'll be able to pick a point from here, pick one from here, put them together, and come up with something that would work properly for you.
Thank you so much for that. So Farmernii, I mean, I went on your website, I loved what I saw, your Instagram and YouTube. If people want to reach you for your farm produce and what you do, I mean, they want to come in here, where are the channels they can reach you on?
Okay, so if you'd want any products from Farmernii, as you said, you can go on our website. It's simple. It's the same, www.farmernii.com. It's a good page, user-friendly, easy to access. What we have available is there. You order, you have next day delivery.
Okay.
You can equally send me a message through Instagram or Facebook or through any of the media platforms that we have.
Okay.
Yes. We also have a number which I believe you'll share probably at the end.
Sure.
Yes, you can reach us on it. And you can equally drive in here. If you'd want to see your produce being handpicked for you, you can drive in here and then buy from the farm gate as well.
Okay. Yeah. And one last question before we end all of these. Marketing the produce, how easy is that?
I mean, it has its ups and downs. Yes. As I said, the first important thing is to try and get a market before you start, and then you plan towards it. There's some produce here which I'm growing to suit a particular person or a particular off-taker.
Okay.
So at times you try to tailor it around. Someone comes to me, I take sweet corn, I need this quantity. So they try to plan around it, and then we do that. The website as well, the Instagram pages, through contents like this, it also comes in handy for some of us. And we also have flyers that at times we go out and then share to people about what we have as well. Those are some of the things we do. We also occasionally have people who have heard about us, maybe market women, who would want to come in and then try what we have over here.
Okay.
And once they come in here, it's difficult to go, to go back.
I mean, I love what I'm seeing here already. So it means that anyone who wants to go in, there's a market there. You just need to be creative about how you approach it and then how you get people to do it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
It's been good really talking to you. It's been insightful. So where can people find Farmernii, your location, and if possible your contact too?
Okay, so Farmernii, as I said, is an urban farm right in the middle of Accra here. East Legon Hills. Some people would say Tantor. Yes, it's just by the main road. You Google Farmernii, it will come up. You can come in here. If you'd want to sit in the comfort of your home and use our online presence, you can go in there and make your purchase online, and then we can deliver to you. We use various delivery services, Yango, Uber, Boats, what's available. If you would want to pick up from the farm as well, you can pick up here. And also you can reach the farm and on the mobile or WhatsApp 02777 66333. So anytime any of the media forms that is comfortable with you, you can always get in touch, and then we'll give you a quick, prompt and tailored response. Right.
That's good. We hope people will do that. We look forward to people doing that too. Okay. Any last words for our viewers before?
Well, what I'd want to share is, as I earlier said, if you conceive in your mind, you can achieve. And one key thing that has been important to me through this journey is about representation. And I feel like if we avail ourselves, just like I'm opening up to you, to talk about some of our successes and challenges, who knows the kind of people we'll be able to inspire along the way. We always say agriculture has been the backbone of this country for many years, but it's been relatively untapped. In greenhouse farming has been there for many decades, but it's not catching on in Ghana over here. So I mean, let's avail ourselves, let's do the necessary work, research, let's see if we can get the right investments, being from state enterprises, from groups that would want to encourage farmers, because farming, as we said, everybody eats at the end of the day, but it's about farming sustainably, getting right produce, good nutrition, produced well without any harmful effect on the end users. So let's do it right, and I think with all of us putting in our bits, we'll be able to achieve far more. We'll be able to achieve a lot of stuff for our country.
Thank you so much for those insightful, good words for us. Thank you so much, and thanks for your time too.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for spending time with us. We've learned so much from Farmernii, and I hope you patronize their product. If you are new to this channel, remember to subscribe and turn on your notification post. See you in our next video.